welcome to Mobility Mastery Monday. I'm Alicia, and this is Jason. And this is your weekly source for the best tips and tools for pain relief and feeling unstoppable. And I have Jason with me today because he is an awesome personal trainer. I train with him 2 times a week. I'm very picky about who I train with, and started training with him back in January. He's also one of my students, so he's learning all about fascia and kind of applying that to personal training, which is awesome. It's something I've been wanting to do with somebody who's very skilled at what they do for a long time. And we together are going to show you some dynamic warm-up stretches that you can do before working out. These will hopefully replace any static stretching that you may be tempted to do or are currently doing, because as most of you know, I am not a fan of static stretching at all. So my preferred method of warming up prior to, let's say, running or a workout is something like a dynamic warm-up. And Jason's here to show us how to do that.
All right, so today we're here to talk about dynamic stretching versus static stretching. Prior to a workout or a run or some sort of intense exercise, I prefer that you warm up the body through dynamic stretching, not static stretching. Static stretching does not help the body warm up prior to exercise, and you can do damage if the muscle fibers are cold, and then you try to force a stretch. There's some definite negative side effects to that. So dynamic stretching really helps warm up the muscle from the bone to the skin. So all the different layers and functions of the muscle get warmed up during dynamic stretching. And we're going to show you in a few minutes a couple of examples of what dynamic stretching is and what you can do to kind of warm up the body prior to a workout. Okay, so we are just going to take just a couple of different dynamic stretches to show you. It's not a full, complete warm-up that you would use, but it is a couple of examples. If you're going to do some sport-specific things or a certain event, there's going to be a lot more movements that you're going to want to do, but these are a couple of quick ones that'll get you going if you're going for a run or a quick workout. The first one that I want to show you is just basically we're going to be moving the joints to the range that you're going to be training for. So if you're going for a run, this one's going to be really important, or a lower body workout, this one would be really important as well. You can use your environment, so if you happen to be in a gym or in a facility, you can use a pole for balance. If you're out at a park and you don't necessarily need one, but just be aware that you're moving your body through a range, and so you might lose your balance, use a tree or something like that if you need to, but you certainly don't have to. The first one I want to show is you're just going to anchor one of your sides, left or right. Let's just pick the left side. We're going to move from the hip, not from the knee, and you're just going to do swings back and forth. Now, whatever range you may have is all you need to move it for. You don't need to, teeter or arch your back or anything like that to increase the range of motion in your body, because that's kind of cheating and it just creates an illusion. So all you want to do is move through your range, whatever that may be, to get the hip warmed up in that plane. The other plane, of course, is side to side. So you can do the same movement in front, going side to side. And again, without kicking your partner, you just want to find your own range. Do not arch your back or throw your hip out trying to increase the range. It's just whatever range you may have. That's going to be able to help warm up the hip in a couple of different directions, depending on what you're doing. A more advanced, complex movement is going to incorporate the knee as well. It's just a walking lunge. With the walking lunge, you're going to also kind of increase the stretch in the hip by raising your hand with the leg that is behind. So when you step and you lunge down, you're going to raise the hand to the leg that is bent behind you. And then you can come up, switch directions. You want to bend both knees at 90 degrees, reach your hand up, and if you want to add a little tilt to increase the stretch, you can, but you might not need to. And then you can switch again. So these are really good ones to warm up the knees, the hips, stretch out the hip flexors a little bit, and you're just moving through the range that you normally would anyway.
So that lunging one is one of my favorites, and I do it before every workout, and the reason is with the reaching of the arm, it really stretches the hip flexor fascia kind of all the way up the chain, and as most of us know from sitting all day long, most of us have really tight hip flexor muscles and tissue, so I really like that one. And in my opinion, if you only have time for one, that would kind of be it for me.
And so moving to the upper body, now if you happen to be doing an upper body workout, whether it's outside or inside, you do want to kind of warm up the shoulders. Main junction point like the hips. One of my favorites and probably the easiest ones to do are just really shoulder circles. You can grab a weight or a water bottle or whatever you want to add a little bit of resistance, but you don't want to pick up anything heavy. It should be something that you can easily pick up and manipulate. And you just start with going in one direction as full circle as you can around the body, whether it's forward or backwards. And again, you don't have to cheat your body to try to make it look like it's a bigger circle. If your shoulders are tight and you're only out here, that's fine. But then what you can do is work your way into a smaller circle and then change the direction and open it back up around and getting back to those full circles. These are really good for waking up the rotator cuff, the shoulder joint, the shoulder girdle, everything. And then of course, going to the other side. You want to do both sides equally, just to make sure that both sides are warmed up for whatever movements that you're going to be doing. So for most of these dynamic stretches, you really want to do them for a minimum of 20 seconds, and you probably don't need to go any further than 30 or 35 seconds per direction and per movement or per plane. That should be enough to get your body warmed up and the joint warmed up for whatever exercise that you're doing or workout.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. For the full blog post accompanying this video, click the link below. And stay tuned because Jason and I are going to be doing more videos together, including giving you more sport-specific dynamic warm-ups that you can do if you're an athlete training for a specific sport. This again was just a general one, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, like it and share it, and I will see you next time on Mobility Mastery Monday.